Hey, friends. Hey, this is Waylon, and it's not quite as dark because it's 4 p.m. and it's going to be dark soon, and that's why none of us love daylight savings. So, three mindful tips every Friday. It's Friday. Here's three mindful tips. So, one of them just came to mind. I meet tons of people. I'm super social. I'm always chatting and being witty and, wandering around living my life. And a lady came up to me today and said, "Hey, Waylon, la 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 la." And apparently, I had met her at this party of a friend of ours, and I asked her her name, and she told me, and we chatted for a bit. And I was chatting with her friend, this sort of cowboy fellow as well. And as I went to leave, I realized, and only a couple minutes had passed, I realized something that all of us do all the time. And so this easy fix of repeating names may be well known to many of you, but if not, many years ago, I asked a friend of mine who always remembered everyone's names, how does she remember people's names? And she said, repeat their name when you meet them several times before you leave. So this lady told me her name, and I went to leave and I said, "Hey, what was your name again?" And it was like Dee Dee or Nini or I forgot. And that mindlessness, while not a serious, awful thing, if you've read Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, mindlessness is okay, partially because, like riding a horse, even when or dancing, even when or surfing, even when we're a little off balance, judo, we use that to regain our balance. So that mindlessness reminded me, you know what? I need to start repeating people's names again. So that's the tip. When you meet someone in a funny way, you're very present with them. You're eye contact, you're talking about memories or plans or making jokes or whatever you're doing, but you're not actually being, putting their name away in a vault with some mnemonic device, rhyming their name with something or other, maybe, or associating their name with where you met them, whatever cafe. And when you leave, you've forgotten their name almost instantly. So repeat their name. So you say, "Hey," um, and I forgot this lady's name, but you say, "Hey, Nini, Dee Dee, BB." It was something like that. It was like two syllables. "Great to meet you. I'll see you around." And then in your mind, you can say, "Nina," or whatever, cafe, Boxcar Cafe. So it's been very helpful in my life. And whenever I forget, like today, it reminds me to get back on that horse, no pun intended. All right, number two. Um, some of you may have seen, but I have a book tree over here. Those are all books, green books, red books, gold books. And then there's some lights, and there's a nutcracker, and there's presents. There's even ornaments hanging from sort of the cracks. I'll show it to you again. So there's a lot going on there. It's on a bench because it's not great in the Buddhist tradition to put books on the floor. But you could even put a plank of wood on the floor and then pile the books on that. So that's my book tree. Upstairs, I have a tree. So I have two Christmas trees this year. I am not Christian. I'm half Jewish. I've done a podcast and video on anti-Semitism recently. But I think the Christmas tree, so-called, is something we can all embrace. I say so-called because, the pagan tree decorating it predates the Christian tradition encountering the tree and the decorating tradition for the holidays. So when I was a kid, my mom, we would always go up to National Forest Land, cut a tree down that was sanctioned. We would pay a small fee or it would be free. And, it would be a little bit of a Charlie Brown wild tree, but it would be quite beautiful, quite cheap, if not free. And these are trees that are going to get cut down, thinned for fire prevention anyway. So that's what I have upstairs. I have a tree from my friend RC and Jean that came from way up in the Rockies where they live, a tree that would have been cut down anyway. And just wanted to remind people the debate shouldn't be about artificial tree, which microplastics is toxic. It's shipped all around the world. It literally takes 20 years with an artificial tree of reuse before the carbon footprint equals, uh, a cut tree. And then when you throw it away or trash it, it's toxic forever. So I don't really think it's equal even after 20 years. And most of us aren't using the same artificial tree for 20 straight years. The cut tree, however, is another issue. These tree farms aren't that great. They're displacing animals. They do absorb some carbon. There's a lot of shipping. Now they're wrapped in plastic often, plastic netting, plastic twine. None of that's great. So please try to find a sort of wild source or a potted tree. I've done a potted Christmas tree and then keep it in here for a couple of months, put it out in the spring and plant it. And then you have a beautiful tree. I've done that in the past. So do better, because when we just trash our Christmas trees, it's kind of sad, whether they're artificial or natural. Natural overall is better, but you can do even better than that by getting one that would be cut down anyway. Um, and, monoculture farms, tree farms aren't ideal. And then, so you can do a potted tree or you can get a wild one, as long as it's sort of from a sanctioned source. And then, um, final thing is, when you dispose of your natural tree, it's wonderful to mulch it. That's the best thing you can do with it. Um, so don't just throw them away, which is sort of sad and out of keeping with the holiday spirit anyway, seeing all these beautiful trees that were cherished, part of your family home, just on the by the trash can the next day. That's sort of sad. But if you mulch it, use it in your yard, that's actually a great way to kind of prevent it from causing tons of methane and pollution over the years. All right. And then scintillating video with 0 live watchers, but we're rebuilding this platform. So courage, Waylon. And then number 3 is a meaningful gift. Now, a lot of us give presents. I don't give that many presents. I'm not a huge consumer gifter. I think gifts are awesome and lovely if they're personal. So when I see something that makes me think of that person, then I might get that if it's ethical, if it's fair trade, if it's plastic free, if it's, a good source, if it's not going to be toxic when it's thrown away. I like giving books, although books are not that eco anymore. For those of you who are aware of my books, they're super eco, but that's rare. And even my books could, be better, although they're getting better and better and better. So meaningful gifts in experience, like going to Elephant Academy, our online training school. These are things where you're investing in your life. You're investing in the life of your loved one that you're giving it to. It's 0 shipping. It's, great last minute gift. And it's an experience. So whatever you're doing, giving experiences, doing something with that person, handwriting, calligraphing a card, making it personal. I remember the most meaningful gift, and I've written about this on Elephant, I ever received in my whole life was a Risk board game. So it's not really the value of what it is, but for me, when I was a little kid, I enjoyed playing Risk one summer at camp, Buddhist camp, and I came back, and that Christmas, my mom gave me a Risk board game. So, is the emotion in the gift that is what makes it meaningful and memorable. So just remember that instead of consumption and shipping and all that. All right, 3 Mindful Gifts Fridays. Anytime you comment with an idea, I will include it if I like it in the next week's video. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to YouTube. Please help me grow this channel. I literally can't do it alone, although I certainly seem to be trying. May it be of benefit.